Hi, good morning everyone. I'm Shanna Shannon. Welcome back to my newest program, Our Leaders, Our Inspiration. For today's episode, I'm really excited because here with me today is Miss Marina Burke, the ambassador of Sweden to Indonesia, Timor-Leste, and ASEAN, who has been living here in Indonesia since 2018. Hi, Miss. How are you?
Hi, dear Shanna Shannon.
Yes.
Warmly welcome to the Swedish residence.
Thank you, Miss. Thank you for letting me inside your beautiful home. I was very shocked when I came in because I really love the design of your home. Maybe you can tell us a bit about your home?
The Swedish residence is a residence for all ambassadors working here, Swedish ambassadors working in Indonesia. And it's being furnished by Swedish designers, and all the furnitures are made in Sweden.
Wow.
Designed and made in Sweden.
No wonder the home is so beautiful and very comfortable, very Christmassy since it is the month of December right now. And first of all, I would also like to thank you for your time.
Thank you. It's a pleasure having you here.
Thank you, Miss. So before going further, let me share some interesting facts about Sweden to our audience. Indonesia and Sweden established diplomatic relations since 1950. Sweden is well known as one of the most innovative countries in the world. Life-changing innovations such as adjustable wrench, three-point seatbelt, and Bluetooth technology were invented in Sweden. Anders Celsius, who invented the Celsius temperature scale, and Carolus Linnaeus, the father of modern taxonomy, were Swedish. And of course, Alfred Nobel, the inventor of dynamite, who gave the largest share of his fortune to a series of prizes we know now as the Nobel Prizes, the most prestigious award in the world in its field. Sweden is also home to many international brands such as IKEA, H&M, and Spotify. And did you know that Sweden is the world's third largest music exporter behind the US and the UK? Wow, those are some interesting facts that I myself didn't know at first. Yes, and I was so shocked after I knew it. So, Ibu Marina, with all these amazing achievements, how does education play a role in this fascinating Swedish spirit of innovation?
Education is the core thing for being an innovative and high-tech country. Sweden, you said Sweden is one of the most innovative countries in the world. We're also one of the most high-tech countries in the world.
Yes.
Education is the core thing. Already in 1842, schools were compulsory for both girls and boys, which is one, clear political reform that was very important and made Sweden, growing faster than without schools for everyone. So that's one reason why we have been able to develop the skills and technologies.
Wow, that's great. And I think that a lot of our audience would really want to know your story maybe of how you were as a student.
Well, how I was as a student, I think I was quite...
Were you a good student, Miss?
I was very engaged.
Oh.
School for me has always been very important. Having said that, I was very serious, of course, but also did a lot of sports.
Oh, like...
So let me tell you a little bit about, schools in Sweden, which is built on many different pillars. Yes, we spend a lot of time, studying, but just as important as studying is physical activities. So we have a lot of sports, compulsory sports that has to be undertaken as well in schools, in the school. I was a football player myself.
Oh.
I started already when I was 6 or 7 years old, and I continued until I was 18 years old to play football. And that has been very important. And I also was surfing a lot. So I did a lot of different sports, but those were the two main sports for me. But it is important, for all children when they grow up to be physically active. That is how you develop your brain.
Oh,
it is so important, and make it possible for all students to actually be active physically. It's important. And You mentioned Sweden being one of the biggest music export countries as well. The reason behind that is that you are introduced already early in age in school to actually play an instrument or sing, and you do not have to pay for it. Schools in Sweden are free for everyone. You don't pay for schools in Sweden, not even the universities. It's also for free, which is also one of the reasons why Sweden is developing, you know, high-tech solutions and innovations. And so back to music, I mean, we are introduced, every single student in Sweden has the possibility to learn an instrument and to sing. And that's how we develop the skills, you know, being introduced to music very early in age without having to pay for it, which means that everyone can try it.
Wow.
It doesn't have to be only the one that have the money or are able to pay for it, because everyone is introduced to it for free.
Wow, that's great. That means every student there has the opportunity to get education.
Yes.
And gets it for free also.
Yes.
Until university.
Including university. University is also for free in Sweden.
Oh yes, including university. Are there any maybe memorable experiences as a student? Maybe with your teachers?
I think I was a very talkative student.
Oh.
I asked a lot of questions. I wanted to sit in the front row asking questions all the time. But that is how you are taught as well. Very early in age, you are being taught to question, not to ask question, but to question what is being said by the teacher, by the grown-up. Even, you know, at home, when your parents are saying something, you are taught by your parents already very early in age to question things. You must, you know, be able to make your own analysis and your own conclusions, and that will develop only if you are, as a child, allowed to ask question and to question what is being said. And that creates curiosity. And when you create curiosity, you also develop the spirit of wanting to learn more. And that's how you become a country with high tech, you know, high tech country with innovation that is sort of popping up all the time.
Wow. Yes, I agree that I think curiosity, by having curiosity, we obviously have the want to know more.
Yes.
And by then we learn a lot of new things. Miss Marina, may I know how long have you been the ambassador of Sweden here in Indonesia? Because I think you've lived here since 2018. So I'm guessing it's been 4 years.
Yes, 4.5 years.
4.5
Almost
years.
4.5 years. Yes, I've been here since 2018, 1st of September, and I will end my term on August 14 next year.
Oh, so next year is going to be your last year here in Indonesia.
That's right.
Miss, have you always wanted to become an ambassador, or have you ever expected to become an ambassador?
I've always wanted to work with people. That's my core thing. And through the years and through school, and when I entered into university, I was studying international relations and economics. When I studied international relations, I realized that I want to work with people internationally, you know, to actually go and live abroad. And I was very much into politics in general, interested in different kind of culture, politics, and how countries and people communicate. People to people contacts and cooperations are so important for the world, and that interest I have had for such a long time. And developing that interest gave me finally the opportunity to enter into the diplomatic corps. So I've been to within the diplomatic corps, the Ministry for Foreign Affairs since 1995. And when you enter into the diplomatic corps, that is when your interest for becoming an ambassador starts.
Oh, I see. That's actually really interesting that you took international relations as a major, because I'm planning to take international relations as a major.
Good choice.
Yes, because my dream one day is to work at United Nations.
Very good. I was
Yes.
thinking about that as well, actually.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Yes.
I did my thesis. I received a scholarship and did my thesis in Zambia.
Zambia?
Zambia in Africa. And that was the first time that I came across UN in the field and saw how they were working, active in the field in different sectors. So at a time there, I was actually thinking about joining UN, but it's not too late to do that.
Yes, you can still do that.
Yeah.
May I know what are your main duties as the ambassador of Sweden to Indonesia?
Yes, I have the most interesting job in Indonesia. I'm excited every day I go to work. My main mission is to make it possible for Swedish companies to increase their investments in Indonesia, to increase the trade relation between Indonesia and Sweden. So what I also do is try to promote exports from Indonesia to Sweden. Making it possible for Swedish companies to invest in Indonesia, but at the same time I'm also trying to promote basic values. And when I mean basic values, that is sustainability issues like the Agenda 2030, the Sustainable Development Goals. Have you heard about those? The
I
UN
think so.
Sustainable Development Goals.
Yes.
Those are global goals, and they were set to be implemented by all actors, not just governments, but also the private sector, organizations. So what I try to do is to integrate the sustainable development thinking and goals into my promotion of Swedish companies here, because what is so fantastic is that most Swedish companies, if not all of them, really has the sustainability issues in their DNAs. So when they think about business plans, they always think about how can they develop their businesses and invest in a sustainable way. And also how can they promote the implementation and to reach the Paris Agreement. Do you know about the Paris Agreement?
Yes, I've heard about
Yes.
the Paris Agreement.
So the climate change that we are facing right now in the world, and not least in Indonesia and Sweden, has negative implications on everything that we are doing. So if we do not try to stop the climate change, we will have nothing to invest in.
Yes.
And that is exactly how Swedish companies and also some Indonesian companies are thinking right now. So that is my work.
Ah, I see. I heard also that Sweden is also famous around the world for being a strong promoter of gender equality. And I think I've met you in one of Plan's events last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, could be.
Yes.
Could be.
And
Could be.
that's why I knew that Sweden was playing a huge role for gender equality.
Yes.
Could you share us your thoughts on gender equality and what Sweden has done to achieve it?
Definitely. First of all, I'm saying something now that I really would like you to remember. Gender equality is not about women and girls. It's not about men and boys. It's about human rights.
Yes.
Everybody's rights to be equal and be valuable. So with that kind of platform is how you develop your equality thinking, right? And gender equality was not a gender equality issue when gender equality started to develop in Sweden. In the 1960s, 1970s, actually around the years when I was born in 1968, the Swedish government at that time realized that they needed more people into the working force in order to develop our country, to increase economic growth. So they made it possible for women to enter into the working force and start working. With that, they decided upon a few very strategic political reforms. One of them being developing social care for children, daycare centers for children, and also taxation, which is quite complicated to talk about. But before and in early age in Sweden, married couples were taxed together, but by separating and making taxes individual, you created you empowered economically women standing on their own feet economically. So a lot of political reforms were made to make it possible for women to enter into the working force. And one other important political reform was actually to introduce parental leave. So what we have in Sweden today is actually 408 paid parental leave days for parents, both fathers and mothers, and you share them. It's actually 3 months of those 408 paid parental leave days is devoted to the father and cannot be shared and not be given to the mother.
Oh.
So in Sweden you see a lot of fathers walking around with small children in the trolleys. It's the normal picture we have in Sweden.
Oh, I see. I really like what you said earlier, that gender equality is not about men or women, but about human rights. And I think that's really important for everyone to remember. May I ask, how is the condition of gender equality there in Sweden? For example, here in Indonesia, I think for a lot of areas in the deeper parts, we still have to face that issue. But maybe here in the city, I think that there is better chance for women to get opportunities. How about there in Sweden, Miss?
Both boys and girls are given the same opportunities to go to school, to do sports, to do whatever they want. But of course there are gender inequalities in Sweden as well. And to be honest, I mean, it's all about mindset. And as a parent, I have really tried. I have one son and 2 daughters. I've really tried to make them feel the same when I when I act as a mother. I try to treat them equally. And what I'm thinking about specifically is that if one of my daughters were being, voicey and actually forceful and powerful, I would just say, well, and promote that. Please be forceful and powerful, because that will mean that you will become a manager one day, But it is very easy to stop small girls from, don't be noisy, please lower your voice. But if boys are noisy, powerful, and use, their sort of strength to show themselves, that is not being pushed down. But if you see a girl, you tend to push them down, and I've tried not to. And when it comes to my son, I really wanted him to be sensitive, to show his feeling. I would never stop him from crying if he wants to cry. So what I'm saying is that you really have to start early in age and treat boys and girls equally, and make them, act in a way that, is how they want to act. Not trying to push forward the sex quota on them.
As we were talking about opportunities for male and female, nowadays, do you think that the opportunity to become a leader for women is sufficiently accommodated? And maybe what advice would you like to give to girls? Miss?
I definitely don't think that all opportunities for women are accommodated. That is why you need, in all countries, political support to make sure that everyone is treated equally and is given the same opportunities. And it must cover all ages, from very first years of your life up till, the end of your life. You have to make sure that the gender equality aspect is integrated into the daily life and make it possible for girls and women to be treated equally. So definitely you need to support it and be aware as an individual. You need to be aware of the inequalities. So one advice from me to you is actually to never accept not being treated equal. And never say accept that some boy or man is acting cruel to you or doing something to you that you do not like, just say stop and no. Because you have your own rights, you decide over yourself and your own body. Never forget that.
Thank you so much for the advice, Miss. I think that's really good advice for all the girls. Never accept being treated unequal. And we always have to always have the right mindset that everyone has equal rights and no one has more rights than the others.
And most importantly, always say no to all things that you do not like.
Yes.
Never accept anyone to treat you in a way that you dislike.
Don't be scared to say no.
Correct.
Yes. So I think that's the end for this segment. I think now I would like to ask some interesting things about Sweden, including traditional clothing. So maybe would you like to say anything talk about traditional clothing in Sweden?
We have different clothings for our different regions, but it's used quite rarely, only with very festive celebrations and things. I do not have a special dress from my region myself, but there are a few that use them for big parties and celebrations. But now when we're entering into Christmas,
yes,
we celebrate Christmas. I think in the Nordic countries in general, we celebrate Christmas quite similar. We start out already the 4 Sundays before Christmas. We start to celebrate first Advent, second Advent, third Advent, and fourth Advent, and then comes Christmas. But before fourth Advent, between third and fourth Advent, we celebrate Lucia.
Lucia.
Lucia is a very old tradition, and Lucia comes with light in her hair actually, but for her we have a white dress. Would you like to try it?
Yes, speaking of Lucia, I know there's a white gown prepared for me, so I would like to try it on.
Please.
So stay tuned for the next part.
You are beautiful.
Yeah.
Lucia is coming with a light in her hair, lighting up the dark part of the year. So that is actually, in Sweden, at this time of the year, it's winter time, it's really cold and dark. Some days, in the real, around Christmas and New Year's, the sun doesn't go up at all in parts of Sweden, the north part of Sweden. So it's a few hours every day that we see the sun. So that's why Lucia is so important for us. And she comes on December 13 to light up the darkness.
So Lucia means light up the darkness.
Yes.
Oh wow, this is such a beautiful tradition. Are there any other Christmas traditions in Sweden that maybe you can share to the audience?
Well, we go to. I told you about Advent.
Yes.
The first,
Advent.
second, and third, and fourth Advent. That is when we actually go to church. For those who want to. We don't have to, but if you want to, we can also celebrate Advent at home. But that is, you gather your families and you eat
together. But then we celebrate the Christmas day. The Christmas Eve the Christmas Eve on the 24th of December. That is when we celebrate Christmas in Sweden. And Santa Claus is coming.
Yes, Santa Claus.
You believe in Santa Claus? Please say yes.
Yes. I'll say yes.
I do as well.
Oh.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
And he comes from the North Pole.
Yeah, North Pole.
So during December, all children are busy writing their letters to Santa Claus and wishing for specific gifts that they really want to have.
Oh, that's sweet. I think Christmas in Sweden is actually really beautiful. I would love to experience it. Maybe this year.
Why not?
Maybe
Why
this
not?
year, yes.
Well, you should come to Sweden on Christmas when I'm in Sweden.
Oh, Oh, yes.
So that will have to wait then until next year.
Yeah. We'll wait till next year.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll take this off
Yes.
in
It's
case.
not very comfortable at all.
I'm just scared it'll fall.
Yes. Do
Thank
you know
you.
what we of course eat specific dishes as well for Christmas. We eat a lot of herrings and salmon and a lot of other things also, but that is, you know, one of the main things on Christmas table. But what we also eat is ginger cookies.
Ooh, ginger cookies.
And the shape of them symbolizes also Christmas. Christmas tree, hearts, the moon, and stars. Would you like to try?
Of course, I would love to try.
Which shape? The
I'll
moon.
take the moon.
Okay, I take the heart.
Okay. So this is for Christmas only.
Only for Christmas, and we should not eat them all until, you know, we meet the whole family and all relatives for Christmas.
Ah, I see. Oh,
Doesn't it remind you about your own spices in this country a little bit?
this reminds me of a very similar biscuit, a Monadonese biscuit, usually for Christmas also.
Yeah,
It tastes almost exact.
because these spices that we use for ginger cookies, it's easy to find them here in Indonesia.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see. These are really good.
Yeah. Maybe you have traditions for Christmas as well, and
For Christmas here in Indonesia, I think usually we just gather and sing a lot of Christmas songs. In Manado, the people there really love to make huge parties.
yeah.
So usually stay up all night and not sleep and just dance to music. Christmas
That's
music.
nice.
Yeah, that's really
We also
nice.
dance around the Christmas tree
Oh, that's really fun.
and singing songs.
So I think that's one of the similarities that Indonesia and Sweden has.
Definitely.
Do you think there are other cultures that maybe we share the same?
What we share is that we like to gather big families or friends and meet in our houses for specific, you know,
Holidays.
Yes, that's what we share.
And I think that's a beautiful tradition.
Yeah, and that you eat specific dishes for specific holidays. That is very, you know, that's a similarity that I think is very, very clear.
Since you've already introduced me to some Sweden food, I would like to introduce you to some Monadonese food that I brought. So I brought, I think, 4 different dishes, and I'm going to display them for you to try, if that's
Thank you.
okay.
Yes, I would
Yes.
love to.
Okay, so today with me, I brought some Monadonese food.
Wow! Oh, it looks lovely. Thank you so much.
So there are 4
Yes.
different food. There is the panada, which is this one. This is called nasi jaha. This is balapis, and this is kelapa tart.
Okay. Okay.
So let's try the nasi jaha because
All
earlier
right.
the cookies had
Can't wait.
ginger.
Yes.
Nasi jaha is made from glutinous rice and many traditional ingredients.
Right.
So it is cooked inside a bamboo. And
That's why it's round.
Yes, and it tastes very good. So let's try it. Okay.
Oh, it's quite
Oh
hard.
yeah, it's quite hard.
It's rice.
Yes, it's rice.
Yes. Looks very nice, tasty.
Oh.
It's a bit sweet as well.
Yes.
Yes.
So this is, I think, just like cooked rice.
Yeah. So now we try this.
Yes.
It has ginger in it.
Yes, it does have ginger in it. Just a little bit.
Feels healthy. Very nice. Very nice.
Next,
Next,
this is called panada.
panada.
I heard that you are a fan of spicy foods
Yes,
and that you have really high tolerance for spicy food.
I have.
So panada is made from wheat and there is spicy fish inside of it.
Ooh.
Yes. So I think if you open it,
Yeah.
you can see, yes, that is a spicy fish.
Oh,
Yes, you may try it.
nice.
Yeah.
You like spicy food?
I love spicy food.
We have something in common then.
Yes.
Oh, I love this one.
Yeah.
Really nice.
It's a spicy.
Very spicy.
Ooh.
No, well, not very spicy. It's spicy,
Yes.
but very nice. So it tastes a little bit like tuna, but maybe not tuna. Maybe it's another fish.
It's called ikan cakalang.
Very nice.
It's good.
Very good. So what's next?
Next we have, this is called clapper tart. So there's coconut inside it.
And cinnamon on the top, I can see.
Cinnamon, yes.
Yeah.
And then I think these are raisins.
Almonds.
Almonds, yes.
It's a little bit close to Swedish tradition during Christmas time. Raisins, almonds, cinnamon are all spices and ingredients that we use a lot in Christmas food in Sweden.
Oh, because if I'm not mistaken, clapper tart is a dish made from the Dutch, since Indonesians were conquered by the Dutch, especially Manado.
Okay.
So I think this has been a traditional food.
But coconut is very local.
Yes, coconut is the local one.
Yeah.
So we can try this
We
one.
try this one.
This is my favorite one.
Okay. Definitely a favorite of mine as well. Really
This is-
nice.
Clapper tart is definitely a must-have dish in Manado for Christmas.
Oh,
Yes.
lovely.
So it's in every
bit
single
more.
party that you go to in Manado.
Very nice.
Thank you. And for the last one, this is called balapis. It is made from coconut cream and pandan leaves. Yes.
So coconut cream and pandan
Yes.
leaves.
Usually there's coconut also inside of it. But I'm not sure if this one. Oh, maybe this one.
Yeah.
I think those are.
Maybe it's a coconut, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's try.
Nice. Very nice. I like that one.
Yeah.
Very tasty.
So, may I know which one is your favorite dish, miss? So far?
First of all, what was it called again? This-
Panada.
Panada. That is like the main course, you know,
Yes.
or more like a food thing, what I would call it. I could easily have those for lunch. I like them very much, or as a starter for dinner or something. Really, really
Yes.
nice. Or a snack in the afternoon if I'm hungry. Would be perfect for all school children to have as a
Yes.
snack when they come home from school, right? So I like that very much. Then when it comes to the other three, it's very hard to say which I like the most. They're all very nice, but if I have to say one, it would be this
The
one.
clapper tart.
Clapper tart.
Yes. Oh, I
Really
see.
likes it. But I like this one as well. So, well, yeah, that one as well. You know, it's really hard to say.
All of them are good.
All of them are very good.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing these and introducing these dishes for me.
Yes. Maybe I can bring more for you.
Yes, please.
Yes, I'll bring more for
Yes,
you.
please.
So, before we end the session, maybe as a closing, I would like to ask, what does success mean to you, Miss?
Success will not come if you do not feel well, first of all. But that is the most perhaps one of the most difficult things in your life as a person, to make sure that you feel well and feel comfortable and mentally and physically all the time. But if you are satisfied with your life and yourself, then success comes whatever you do. So that's, the base for everything. But then success for me is not measured in what I achieve in my work or no. It doesn't have to be a specific thing. So success for me is when I actually do something that differs for my family, myself, or for a city or a region, or if I can do a good thing for more than a region, maybe global good things. So success for me is when I succeed to do something that differs, that makes a difference. And it can be whatever, doesn't really have to be anything specific.
Wow. Please give a clap for Miss.
Yeah, an applause to you.
Rina.
So nice.
Maybe do you have any last message that you would like to say to the young generation? Anything.
Anything. Be yourself and stand up for what you believe in.
Wow. Thank you so much, Ms. Marina, for your time. I really agree that actually everyone has the potential to become successful if they want to, and if they work hard.
Yes.
So to all the younger generations, let's work hard, have to be consistent, we have to know what we want and be passionate about it and do it with all our hearts.
And support each other.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Ms. Rina, for your time.
For coming and wanting to talk to me. It was a lovely time.
It was a lovely conversation. Thank you for letting me into your beautiful home.
Anytime.
And thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.